Let's face it, what people choose to do in their own time is their own business. Your job is to make sure that when they're on the clock, they are meeting the standards you set for both behaviour and performance. Welcome to Moments with Marty, your short, sharp shot of leadership insight to help you stay on track between our weekly episodes of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast. Over the course of your leadership career, you're going to have to deal with people from all walks of life, many different cultures, and a range of socio-economic backgrounds. You'll also see just about every dimension of human frailty and the issues that many of us face on a day-to-day basis. In any team, you'll have a cross-section of the population that lives in your general geographical area. That's it. So don't expect your team to be any different from the rest of society. What is it that your slice of humanity is likely to serve up on any given day? Now, I've got some fairly recent stats for a few of the more common issues that you're likely to encounter. According to the US National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2022, about 1 in 4 adults engage in binge drinking every month. Okay, so at least you'll be dealing with some very unproductive hangover days in your team. Around 1 in 5 people regularly use illicit drugs, and in the 18 to 25 age group, the rate is twice that high. 17.3% of people have some type of substance abuse disorder, and the mental health picture isn't any more encouraging. Almost 1 in 4 adults aged 18 or older had a mental illness in the past year. Now, to me, that's absolutely mind-boggling. To add a little colour here, statistics also tell us that, for example, kleptomaniacs represent about 0.6% of the adult population. So that means in a group of just 1,000 people, you're likely to have half a dozen people that want to steal your shit. But look, I know leaders say, my people just aren't like that. Yeah, they are. As leaders, of course, we have to stay in our lane. The vast majority of us aren't doctors or clinical psychologists, so we're ill-equipped even to diagnose, let alone treat the people who are wrestling with these types of personal problems. Some industries and companies have a built-in culture of substance abuse. Now, it's a little rarer these days, but in my early career, the drinking culture was alive and well in some of the client companies that I worked for. The typical Friday lunch consisted of 4 pints of beer and, as an afterthought, a large plate of fries to put some blotting paper on our stomachs before we went back to the office. Some industries, like marketing agencies and investment banks, are notorious for an endemic culture of substance abuse. They call it the work hard, play hard culture. Now, it can serve to create very strong bonds between people, as any shared experience does. But is this how you want to be known? It's easy to see your credibility in tatters when you know your people are thinking, don't tell me what to do, mate. I saw what you did last Friday night when we were wasted. So, let's assume that you're not the problem, although you should make sure you reflect on the behaviours that you model for your team. Let's face it, what people choose to do in their own time is their own business. Your job is to make sure that when they're on the clock, they are meeting the standards you set for both behaviour and performance. You should be attuned to the fact that these problems exist in your team, and when they do impinge on work performance, to not make concessions. You had a hard night? Okay, but you don't get to come here and distract your colleagues while you work off your hangover. Now, with remote work, it's also now much harder to see this. So you should probably be aware that people are taking more mental health days than you might suspect. Being a tolerant but strong leader means you recognise when people are struggling and cut them some slack. Even your best people go through divorce or the death of a parent or health issues or a new baby. So it's important to learn how to strike a balance between supportiveness and the need to preserve a minimum acceptable standard. When you see someone whom you suspect is undergoing a personal crisis outside of work, try to refer them to get some help. Encourage them to look after themselves and to find a path to recovery. Give them some space to deal with it and show them you understand that they're human just like you are. But whatever you do, don't throw the standards for behaviour and performance out the window just because you want to cater for someone who's making deliberate choices about what they do each day. If you want to take a deeper dive on how to recognise and manage these difficult situations, have a listen to episode 97 of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast, Addiction in the Workplace. We'll leave a link in the show notes. I really hope you've enjoyed this moment and that it gives you that extra little spark to be a no bullshit leader.